Hello, and welcome to Tea with the Goddess. This is the new moon at the end of Aquarius and the beginning of Pisces, depending on where you put the dividing line. This will actually be tomorrow night, if you're watching it relatively soon after I post this, the Sunday night, 11 o'clock our time. So I wanted to get it done tonight so that I would not be stressing at the end of a long day and worrying about fitting in my celebration and my connection. I also would like to apologize for not getting the last goddess session up. It was the full moon, and it was a bit of an emotional one for me. I was frustrated, so I hope not with this system, just with my life. And it was actually kind of a breakthrough, so I hope I do actually put it up. We'll see how brave I am with that. But here we are tonight. Our hidden guest is my cat, Grebo. She decided she needed to be part of the situation. So I wanted to say something before we get started with our guests and invite everybody in. When doing a meditation or a ritual or a celebration of any kind, it is customary to cleanse the space, to kind of create a special space. And part of that creation, of course, is setting things up. As you set things up, you create the intention, you give the space definition. Even if it is a crowded office room or a big, huge dining area or a backyard, you are defining it for the moments that you are going to use it for the celebration. And it is helpful to cleanse the energies beforehand. And growing up in the Catholic Church, it was done personally. We assign ourselves and bless ourselves with holy water as we go in. And to me, part of that was kind of creating that doorway. We are now entering this sacred space in this sacred time, but also kind of wiping away, cleansing away the thoughts and the energies of the outside. Again, creating a sacred space and a sacred area that is, being reborn, starting anew each time. Anyway, one of the ways I like to cleanse my space now, because it is quick and easy, is with Palo Santo water. And I just took some distilled water and set it out and put a Palo Santo stick in it. I like that better than actually lighting the stick, because lighting the stick means I have to open all the windows and turn on the fan, and I get worried about alarms going off. So I create a water instead that I can just spritz around the room and spritz over myself, and it gives it a refreshing feel. If I remember correctly, because it's been a long time since I've had to access this information in order to talk about it, Palo Santo wood is Latin American, and it is a cleansing wood, as opposed to sage, which is also a cleansing item, and I believe that is more American Indian. But it might not only be those two cultures that use those two things consistently. So let us settle in and invite the feminine divine into our space. And first, settle ourselves by. by taking some breaths. And just blow everything out. And inhale, feeling the breath go in and down into the heart area. And exhale, and as the breath leaves the body, feel the body just kind of relax and settle in. And inhale. Let the breath go deeper and the lungs expand further. And exhale, releasing all the inner dust inside. We've cleansed the outside, now we cleanse the inside. And inhale. Allow the breath and the awareness to reach to the fingers and the toes and the top of the head. And exhale, bringing our attention to this time and this space where we are gathering to converse, to contemplate ideas, to receive from the Goddess. And naught but love shall enter in, naught but love shall come from within. And so we invite the feminine divine to grace this space, the energy of receiving and creativity and contemplation in this time of the new moon, which is a time of endings and beginnings, the cycle of stopping one thing and starting another, the cycle of releasing or holding out our hands to start creating something new or receive a new seed. Welcome, welcome to all who wish to join us. Our tea today is Twining's green tea. It's a decaf tea for sleep time, since it's at night and things have been kind of anxious. If you're like me, thought it'd be nice just to have a not boring, but just an easy tea, a relaxing tea. Of course, green tea is big these days to help with the brain, so that's also nice to have, especially at the end of the day when one feels like there's not that much brain left sometimes. And the treat for the day is, again, a nice simple graham crackers. Family favorite and something I always associate with my mom. So it seems apropos. The treat that was up last time was really, really sweet, and I'm getting out of the cycle of really sweet. So I'm hoping that there will be more plain, just fun treats as opposed to it being about the treat. So the thing that has been running through my head lately is hard to express, I guess, but there's two bits. First, again, it always feels like, yay, we're gathering. What do I want to talk about? Well, I should talk about issues and overcoming issues and getting help with issues. Last time was definitely a helpful time. But I also want to celebrate the good things that have happened in the last couple weeks. Or celebrate the things that are still good. So a gratitude time, perhaps. Things for which we are grateful. And I am very grateful that the weather is so much warmer in a way. The sun has shone quite a bit, and it feels like spring is coming. It feels like it's time to wake up and get going and get moving. The sun is out longer, so there's time for walks at the end of the day. The sun is up earlier, so it feels like there's more time to do exercising or meditating. It's lovelier, and I am very, very, very grateful for that. On the flip side, I'm also grateful that I was able to, for the moments in winter, that I was able to appreciate those moments. Because it allows me to be quietly grateful now, appreciating every moment we're in for the beauty of the moment itself, for its role in the cycle, for its thread part in the tapestry. It's helpful. It's helpful in the slowing down as well. So this has been a lovely week, not only for the sun coming out and the weather hinting of spring, but also for the reminder of slowing down. Things that have evented at work and here are, the end result at the end of the day has often been just the words. We have time, we have space, we have the people, we can do this at our own pace. And that is something that is a little difficult for me. If you're like me, it's, one of the reasons the happiness practice is so important to me is because it's about getting the information from inside, which means connecting to the divine, because there's a lot of trust issues going on. Am I really saying that? Do I really believe that? Is this really the right way to go and the right thing to do? So I'm used to outside giving me a timeline and telling me what I need to do. And so it's still easy to get caught up in the, there's all these things, all these goals that need to be accomplished. So there's all this stuff that needs to be done and I need to power through and move forward. And that usually creates a mistake. It usually adds to the anxiety instead of takes it away. So let us all pause for a calming sip of tea. It's not bad. So slowing down is important, continuously over and over and over and over again. And it is not necessarily the slowing down of, walking really slow, but the slowing down of taking a moment, taking a deep breath, creating that doorway between each activity, letting each event in itself be sacred, the going into work, the doing of each project, letting the focus and the energy be just on that, which is not easy in an office because there's, stuff at home, constant things coming in that want your attention. So being able to maintain the attention here, and then the attention here, and then the attention here is a good practice. And remembering that there's only so much that can be done in a day. But what I have found myself doing through the last 2 weeks, and a reminder continually previous, is tensing up, like mind over matter. If I put enough effort into it, if I focus hard enough, I can get everything done. I can connect with everything I need to connect with. I can change whatever it is I need to change through the power of my mind. And usually that ends up with a massive headache, gritted teeth, shoulders up in the ears, and frustration because it hasn't gotten done and I didn't enjoy myself. And this happens for everything from playing games to actually doing work, to, even reading or cleaning the house. I try and force myself to do it with my brain. And so the thought I've been trying to get to through these last couple weeks, that I'm hoping we will meditate on and maybe receive some information about, is how to do every day from the center as opposed to from the brain. Because it is really easy for me to separate my body from my spirit and to, close the eyes and be in that lovely spiritual space. But we are actually here on earth. We are interacting with the physical. We are consuming food and drink and TV and games and each other's company. And in order to really know that we have consumed it, I need to be aware of it, present for it. And it doesn't work if it's all in my head. I'm not sure if this is making sense even to me, so we'll keep trying. So I've been working on how to be zen, be in the moment, be calm, be slow, savor, be centered in the heart, be open in the heart, and still move forward and get things done and feel accomplished at the end of the day. And it is this weird connection, at least for me, of trying to meld the physical and the spiritual. Lots of ums today. So the question, the desire, the information, the practice I would like to bring more into, because the last session was about it's about the physical. Spoilers. I really hope I put it up. That not that there are issues, though I think many of us are having more physical issues, because it's different now. The physicality feels different. Things are acting up that weren't. We are more susceptible to allergies or pains or, issues. It's the world. That was my cat trying to transfer from physical to spiritual and not quite making it. Sorry. She is okay. So it's easy to take those things and freak out a little bit and say, oh my goodness, what is happening to me? I'm breaking down. And the information we got last time was simply that it was time to focus on the body. It is time to focus on the physical. But I want to do that with an awareness of the spiritual as well. A lot of things have been coming up on Instagram on Thich Nhat Hanh, I hope I pronounced that right, the posts from his people, maybe straight from him, work electronically. The spirits can really manipulate that energy. But a lot of it has been about paying attention to the feet on the ground, that each step is a caress on the earth. As opposed to, just walking along and the focus being up here, We are grounding every moment. We are moving on the earth and with the earth and through that moment and that time and space. And so it's my desire to meld the physical with the spiritual, so it doesn't feel like I'm fighting something or punishing myself physically because I am not paying attention or am paying attention. And to me, that seems like I need to do it all with an open heart. Whatever I approach, whatever I present, I want to be heart-centered and open, as opposed to head-centered and kind of closed off in focus. So I hope that makes sense, and we're going to take a few minutes and breathe, converse, and see what comes through. Because when we do slow down and take the breath, we are more inclined to be able to hear what's going on and what we're really trying to say. And before we do that, or because we're doing that, something else. If you're like me, you have wanted to be psychic, telepathic, connect. You want to connect spiritually. You want to be able to channel and communicate, and maybe even have better connection with other people. The idea that being psychic would give us better connection with others. And it does. However, if you're like me, it is hard to tell which thoughts are yours and which are others. Because there's a lot going out there in the world now. So again, another reason, another help to kind of shield the brain, the mind, where all the busy thoughts are in the computer is, and open the heart. Because the heart center will filter out those things and impulses that aren't ours. It will, the idea of the blood streaming through, and it filters and cleans, and I don't know all of the technicalities, but in my mental image, in my feeling, I feel that that's how it works, that the water of the blood streams and cleans and siphons out as it runs over the bones, I don't know, so that the energy that comes into the heart space and comes from the heart space is only the energy that we wish to be part of. Whatever the belief system is, we open our heart, we trust in our heart, we know in our heart. We say we know something deep down. We talk about our gut, which is also a chakra point, but to me it's the heart. That is where the information comes, is purified. So I want to be able to connect and approach and be physical and spiritual and aware in my heart instead of trying to push in my head. I believe this will help release the tension. So, what would you tell us today? How to be more aware of the heart, how to be more open of the heart, how to slow down, to listen, to relax. one thing I found is that opening my eyes is helpful. A couple years ago, I was having issues, and so I went to the clinic to because I was throwing up a lot, and so they gave me a anti-whatever, nausea, and she said, okay, just sit, take deep breaths, and I automatically close my eyes when I take deep breaths because that's what I do. And she said, no, keep your eyes open, that it is easier to ground, to find a focal point with the eyes open, and one can get a lot more vertigo, nauseous, whatever the proper English way of saying it is, because I can't remember if it's nauseous or nauseated or whatever, if your eyes are closed, because there's nothing to really focus on when your eyes are closed. And that's one of the reasons we like to close our eyes for meditation, is it removes the focus, and ideally then the brain and the awareness can drift off into whatever path, or we can create an image inside. But in order to stay grounded, it is good to keep the eyes open. And so in order to meld, we want to keep the eyes open. In order to let it be the doorway between the physical and the spiritual, we want to express it with our eyes open, so that we are aware of the physical as we reach into the spiritual, and there is not a shock of transition when we try to bring the knowledge and the feeling and the comfort from the spiritual into the physical world. So the way to have an open heart is, and throughout the day, is to keep the eyes open. So I guess even when stepping back and taking the breath, now it is time to keep the eyes open. And if we need to look away from the issue at hand, for example, if and we're looking at a puzzle and we just get way too intense, we need to step back at it. We keep our focus on this world and look at something else. And I believe that's one of the tenets of the Abraham Hicks. When you wake up in the morning, or when you need to change your thought pattern, you change it so that you are looking at something that you enjoy more. So if I didn't really like graham crackers, which I really, really do, but if I didn't like them and they're sitting right there, then I would focus on my little stuffed hedgehog over there. Or is that a hedgehog? Anyway, my cute little stuffed animal over there. And just take a moment to appreciate it, that it is cute and fuzzy, that I like cute and fuzzy things, that it brought me a big grin when I got it. It was given to me. And that takes us out of the frustration. So that is a way of stepping back, and we get to take a deep breath with our eyes on something we appreciate more, which allows us to breathe in that energy of appreciating more, and we can open our hearts a little bit more because the focus is on something that we like, that we find beautiful. And does that crunch? Because I'm wearing earphones. I think the microphone's in here. That may have crunched, so I apologize. I will have to check that and see what happens. And now I'm afraid to chew, so I'll try not to choke. So the next step then, leading with the heart, having just being open in the heart, open to receiving, open to connection, is to keep the eyes open. And allow us to be physical and spiritual at the same time. If you're like me, it is something to practice. It is not something that's going to happen automatically. And as many of us have probably discovered, we need to practice when things are going well, because when things get frustrating, it is easy to revert to the old patterns and to the staring into the teeth gritting, which is what happened in this last week. But it really does feel much better to be heart open. So in this time of releasing old and opening new, and moving from air to water, let us just practice the opening of the heart through the breath with our eyes open. All right, this is the one that fell out. We like to take the one that fell out because we assume that's the one we really need to know. And it's Dagaz. Dagaz is the rune of doorways, which, okay, is a helpful image, actually. And obviously apropos for the time, the cycle. So, thank you. As well as changing the focus, keeping our eyes open. As we breathe, we can see it as stepping through a doorway. Through the doorway of mental to heart, air to water. The doorway of perception. We are stepping into the space of the moment with the energy that we want to be in, connected and grounded. We are open to the information from the divine that we always carry with us. And maybe that is why it is so important for it to be a spiritual, corporeal mix. Because if you're like me, the world is scary. I'm an introvert and don't always know how to interact, and the whole anxiety thing means that I am never sure if what's going to meet me on the other side of any doorway, of any decision, of anything new that I try. And that's actually one of the benefits of the job I have. We have cycles, and so we do things at certain times of the year. So I know what I'm doing. And yes, it improves, and yes, we change things, but know what the focus needs to be. The benefit of having the spirituality, of having the connection, of having the happiness, is knowing that whatever I walk into and however I approach it, and if I forget to do it with an open heart and instead do it with a closed mind or an open mind or whatever, I am still loved. I am still connected. That never ever goes away. The cycles change, the seasons change, the days grow long and short. It's sunny one day and it's snowing the next, or in some places both on the same day. But the one constant is that I am loved, I am held, and I am part of the divine. So that is why it feels so important to me, I believe, to have the spiritual connected here with the physical, that I know all the time, no matter what I'm doing, for however long I am doing it, that I am still an amazing, awesome, energetic being who is creating whatever is in front of her on behalf of the universe and part of the universe. So we go through the doorway from mind to heart by taking the breath, but we keep our eyes open. So we are walking heart open into the new perception, the new moment, the new connection. And it feels lovely. I hope that helped. I hope something struck something in you joyfully, brought comfort, peace, knowledge. I hope that the goddess spoke with you in ways that you are able to hear. I am grateful for all the time and energy that we spend together. At one time I thought I was crazy and totally different, but it is lovely to feel the connection. So I celebrate that as well. And thank you very much for joining us for this tea with the goddess. Please feel free to talk amongst yourselves. And I hope you have a great day.